to hit this little stack. The guys put a cover sheet on this with all this news today called Zombie-Palooza or Zombie-Palooza 2012. Every day I'm seeing more than 10 articles about zombie attacks in the United States. Not literal reanimated corpses, but reanimated biological brain-dead zombies. Their heart's beating, but that's about it. And there are people being arrested all over the country, caught biting and attacking folks indiscriminately. The police in Miami have had to put out an alert that the homeless now, because they're taking all these drugs that are filled with heavy metals and toxins, are trying to, quote, eat the police. Let me read you the quote here from the police department. Please be careful when dealing with homeless population during your patrols. And they went on to say, because the homeless have been trying to bite us and threatening to, quote, eat us. And here's another one. Cops, man bit off large chunk of victim's face. New bloody attack shows ongoing zombie apocalypse is not waning. This is out of the Smoking Gun. Wig theft suspect bit store owners, cops, police. Police said woman attacked the store owner and his 70-year-old dad, biting and snapping. Cannibal copycat. Police say man high on bath salts. I guess out of China, it's not just regular bath salts. They're putting the drugs in it. Threatened to eat officer. And it goes on here that the Causeway cannibal that you saw last week, turns out he was on Xanax, which is a psychotropic and puts you into a hallucinogenic state. If you look at Xanax, Prozac, any of this class of drugs, it will say on a little insert, not the package, but the little insert, it's got the molecule and all that listed. It will tell you that it's in the hallucinogen class, and not only is it highly toxic, literally eats holes in your brains, but it puts you in a dreamlike state. Every time a woman chops her newborn baby's arms and legs off, happens routinely, or drives their children off a bridge into a lake, or police drive up. I was talking to Houston police years ago, and a beautiful naked woman is slicing herself to the bone, dancing naked on a rooftop. The cops don't say, hey, she's on LSD, hey, she's drunk. They say that woman is on a Prozac drug, and they get in the house and find that out. The police know this. On the drug inserts, they admit, can cause psychotic breaks, delusions of grandeur, suicide, violent outbursts. Every school shooter we've seen, every one, always comes out later, was on a serotonin reuptake inhibitor or another psychotropic class like Xanax. And it goes on to say the 21-year-old who did all this tested positive for marijuana, which is in the hallucinogen class, I should add, not as strong as Xanax. It is in the psychotropic class. Xanax and alcohol. Also told authorities he was on a drug called Cloud 9. How about Cloud Zombie? Apparently a type of bath salts drug, which Miami police have linked to face mauling case. Yeah, the guy was on a cocktail of drugs, his blood showed. But the one we know does it the worst right here is Xanax. Xanax. AFP. MSNBC. But the headline should be Xanax causes another psychotic break. And folks, if you mix Xanax, Prozac, stuff like that with other drugs, oh my gosh, you're just asking, like the guy that shot the cop for no reason in the Walmart here in Austin. What was he on? Xanax. Xanax and alcohol. I've talked to people who have a car wreck, and they'll come in and say, you might be a little depressed since you've cracked your vertebra. Not just painkillers. We want to put you on Xanax. I was talking to one friend who never had any problems in his life. 2 days into Xanax, he drank a couple beers and woke up like 7 hours later in his car with his rifle on the other side of town. I mean, you mix alcohol, ladies and gentlemen, with Xanax, we're talking crazy, man. We're talking PCP looks tame. So, of course, the guy was on. I said last week on the road, I said, you watch, he's going to be on some type of serotonin reuptake inhibitor, or it's another class, something like Xanax. I know a lot of Hollywood people that get on illegal drugs, and sure, they're bad, it screws them up, and they go to the doctor and they say, hey, we'll put you on Xanax. And then what happens when you go on the Xanax? Well, I'm not going to mention any names, but have we seen some Hollywood stars go a little wacky on air? How did they invent heroin? Into the Civil War, hundreds of thousands of people were amputees. Had incredible pain, musket balls in their spines, you name it. They'd gotten addicted after their leg was shot off, or their arm, to opium. So a chemist figured out, at a big pharma company, connected to the Rockefellers, I should add, a chemist figured out how to make something that you wouldn't want opium anymore, because it's roughly 10 times stronger. It's called heroin, and it's made, it's like, oh, you don't want to snort cocaine anymore? Here, try crack. It'll get you off that cocaine. It's just souped up cocaine. So that's what's going on here. And the reason I digressed off into this is how copycat media works. You've got a population mixing a bunch of drugs together, legal and illegal. You've got zombies all over television, in every, I mean, this country's zombie crazy. Everybody knows that. And people now have it subliminally, well, not even, it's overtly, implanted in their minds that what you do is bite people. I'm going to be honest. I've been attacked before by 5 or 6 people growing up in Dallas. I'm on the bottom of a dog pile, panicking. I can't breathe. There's an arm right there. People won't get off of me. You'd be surprised what your teeth can do. Most people hold back. I just bit right into the bone, ripped a big chunk right out of the guy. Believe me, this heard some hollering, some screaming. They got off me real quick. I mean, your dog can bite you. It's okay. I mean, look, I can see the headline now. Was Mike Tyson the first zombie? In fact, I remember after that happened with Mike Tyson, there was a rash of ear biting that happened. Every time a woman chops her boyfriend's male member off, you'll see a couple of copycats the next week. Every time in Chicago or New York or L.A. for that matter, some person jumps off a skyscraper that doesn't have proper fences or netting, the police station cops up there, because they know that when it's on the news, somebody just jumped off the Empire State Building, that day, people that are thinking about suicide are going to go, you know what, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to go jump off the Empire State Building. It's the same thing. So as they hype this and as society degenerates, they're going to call any of this zombie. Was I a zombie one time when I bit somebody? No, they wouldn't get off of me. Like 4 or 5, I forget people. I wasn't going to sit there, and just let them suffocate me. There was an arm sticking down in front of me. And so I just said, well, I'm just going to bite into that full power, see how they like it. And they got off real fast. So, again, am I a zombie? No, I'm not a zombie. But I do use the tools the good Lord gave me. And let me tell you, they're good. Now, this is different, though, if you're just running around wanting to eat people's faces. You've got people hallucinating on Xanax with other drugs mixed with it, out of their minds, who've watched probably 50 zombie movies, and it's in the subconscious to do it. It's going to happen. That's the power of media. They came out in the 60s with all these TV shows about SWAT teams, and then everybody had to have one. And now they have all these movies where there's always checkpoints on highways. So you think it's normal when it happens. This is conditioning. Look at the anti-family messages in every major sitcom where the men are idiots and the women run everything. And so now women want to run everything and treat men with disdain like they're idiots. The women's magazines talk about it. Every major message coming out of the globalist is negative. This article by Joe Klein in Time magazine, How to Kill Yourself, How to Do It, How to Die. He talks horrible about his father and mother and how pathetic they were and how great it was when they were finally dead. And it's super trendy.